body, girl, it look like whoa. Body up, up, down, body don't need no toe. When I do something so you only got it, know. Broke out, make the whole world know. Do something so you only got it, know. Broke out, make the whole world know. Body, girl, it look like whoa. Body no pop down, body don't need no toe. When I do something so you only got it, know. Broke out, make the whole world know. Do something so you only got it, know. Broke out, make the body no pop down, body. See your body, girl, it look like whoa. Body no pop down, body don't need no toe. When I do something so you only got it, know.
A slap to your side, a push on my foolish pride. I'm out of my mind. I'm down from the endless high. Don't know who's losing, who's bruising, who's choosing to stick it through. So we fight with fire. Still on a wire. We fight with fire. Burn with your light. You bleed with the tears I cry. Don't know who's losing, who's bruising, who's choosing to stick it through. So we fight with fire. Still on a wire. We fight with fire. Still on a wire. We fight with fire. The more we sin, the more we win. The more we wish we kept the quiet. The less we try, the less we say. But still we fight. We fight with fire. We fight
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Belong Arena Clash here for the final week of the group stage season. I was going to say league play. I don't know why I keep saying league play. I think it's just a bit
still sort of league play before we move on to the playoffs.
It's more like just a group stage. It's like two leagues running side by side and they come together. So it's not
within a league. Exception.
I know, exactly. It's more like a group stage. But regardless, it's week 5 of the round robin stage, and I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Digital Bacon as always every single week to close out, or not quite close out, but close out the first part of the online portion of the Arena Clash for winter 2019.
You're so stuck on this sort of league with
league. Look, right, it's confusing, okay?
Well,
it's like it goes into a playoffs, therefore it rattles my brain, okay? That's the reason why you're the colour and I'm the play-by-play, because you're the big brain, I'm the small brain.
That is very true, and I cannot deny that. So with that, let's have a little look at our group, because we have got so much relying on today. Looking first, of course, at Group 1, which is going to be where we're going to take the most focus on, because already confirmed through to the playoffs is Enigmas and Nighthawks, Jay. But we have 4 teams today fighting for the 2 remaining spots. It's the Steelers, Harriers, and Pirates who we're going to be seeing, of course, when we go to the second side of the bracket. We'll also get a cheeky little look at the Armada, because they're all going head-to-head. Winner of each of the 2 matches today goes on through 2 playoffs. So there's Armada, look at them with their 4 wins as well. It's unfortunate because Saints, the Leviathans, the Smugglers are out, it is confirmed, and they're just sort of playing for fun here today, which can be enjoyable. But
it's still quite interesting, the fact that we've got like 4 teams still biting for the top, the final 2 positions in that top 4. So like again, as you mentioned, the 2 matches that we'll see today will kind of decide it overall. So we will get to take a look at that. But you can also see the current situation of Group 2 right here. The Claymores sitting at the top end of the table with Centurions, Kestrels, and Vikings quickly there to follow suit. The remaining teams behind them. I'm not sure how well tied up that one is actually. I mean, most of our focus is going to be on Group 2.
Those are confirmed 4 teams for playoffs, but seeding is still up for grabs. Looking at the bottom half of the table, it's unfortunate for Rams. They've had a decent season, but not good enough, it seems. Guardians not being able to make that comeback, which we hope for them, and Hunters and Invincibles going to be looking to next season now.
Okay, well, again, as I mentioned, that group is now locked, essentially. So those are going to be your top 4. And again, the real question is on Group 1, who is going to be the final 2 teams through to that top 4 there again. We're going to take a look at the tiebreaker matches, essentially. All teams on stream today. If they win, they will be in the top 4. If they lose, though, well, that's the end of their season run here, Bacon. And I guess we can start with our first match, the Portsmouth Pirates versus the Kingston Harriers.
Yes. Actually, we're going to be looking at the Plymouth
Armada. No, okay, I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Don't worry, it was only 10 minutes ago. We had a little change up in the order of matches. So yes, first up will be Teesside Steelers going up against Plymouth Armada. Fingers Ferguson, remember him. Quanzi was my standout player for the Steelers side last time around, and Lightleafs. They'll be going up against Ginge, Pepe, Lele, and CW. We did get to see all 4 players of Plymouth Armada, but with how important this match is, today I'm expecting to see Ginge, Pepe, and CW, as they were definitely the 3 strongest players.
Yes, I think we had a little bit of a weird sort of swapsy style of Rocket League coming out from the Armada, where they sort of like tried to swap Lele and CW out and in. So I think I remember that match like from week 2 or so. So it's been a little while since we've seen the Armada in action in that respect. So I wonder if they're going to keep swapping out those players. But as you mentioned, yes, Ginge, Pepe, CW, that was the strongest lineup for the Armada. If they're not fielding those 3 players today in all of their games, then this could actually end up being a bit more of a tougher affair for the Armada. In terms of the individual teams themselves, though, like which one would you rate higher than the other? Because I know you mentioned Quanzi and Ferguson being 2 of the standout players for the Steelers, but does that sort of like one-more combo kind of beat out the overall team play of the Armada?
I'm going to say definitely it's a yes. Steelers for me are the stronger looking team coming into this matchup. It is going to be a hard one for them no matter what, and this is why I'm so excited for this week, because we've got the potential to go to all 5 games for both series, and Steelers for me just etch it on out. They're higher ranked players, they've got better synergy between them, and coming into this, they just have a better air about themselves.
Yeah, so you're all aboard the Steelers, I guess, in this one. That's quite curious, actually. Again, I would have rated Armada better in terms of team play. I think that really is sort of like what it comes down to, because you talk about the style of the Armada, and the Steelers just seem to have like the 3 consistent elements in their main sort of lineup, you know.
So I guess with the Steelers, yes, you got 3 solid players who are of a higher rank, and it is more like that solo standard. So they're individually really great, but coming together, they still got to patch up the teamwork aspect. And over on Armada, you've got Ginge and Pepe, who are happy to just bolster CW. Those two are good mates, and they'll play around each other and let CW go up into attack on his own, holding up that defense. So it's going to be two very different games. Expect a faster playstyle coming out from the T-side Steelers, where they just want to go near enough on those solo plays and just run it to net, whereas over on the Plymouth Armada side, they're going to want to slowly progress upfield and let CW go for the attack from that midfield, whilst Ginger and Pepe just hold it up and then let him continuously barrage at net. It's definitely fitting of their name with the Armada. It will definitely feel like that.
I appreciate that, because like the Steelers are the steel and the fire, and then the Armada with just the sheer numbers game and the I don't know. It's like we are legion, we are many sort of thing. I'm expecting a lot of pressure actually from the Armada in that respect, it's certainly a style that kind of fits that sort of like get into your opponent's half and consistently put it off the backboard, or consistently keep them inside that box and in that half. So midfield control I think might be a bit more of an important element for the Armada, more so than the Steelers side. I'm expecting some quick breakaways from the Steelers more than anything else. So yeah, you're thinking all CW to be the main sort of offensive play?
Yeah, he'll definitely be the one they'll be bolstering up. Like, I generally say they'll be feeding him the ball. He's a hungry lad. He'll be able to get tons of goals. The problem we saw in the past, though, CW, if he's not confident in his team's defensive capabilities, he'll fall back and go purely on the defense, allowing the other two to strike, which against a team like the T-side Steelers, I don't think Ginge and Pepe have the capabilities to put a fair few goals past. They might get one or two, but that won't be enough to break the defense of Steelers. So for me, just go for more goals than your opponents and try and blast out 4 or 5 through the power of CW, rather than bolstering your defense,
Yeah, I can see that. Actually, I can understand that as well. But for the Steelers themselves, like I don't think that they'll be too worried about team play per se. Versus
no, their sort of team plays will be big hits downfield, off the backboard to each other. They won't be looking for infield passes so much. Who knows? It could have changed in the last 3 weeks. They could have somehow gone into the arena, because they do have access to that and practice as a team. But for here, I'm reckoning it's going to be more of the same, where big hits downfield, chase up, maybe leave a man downfield if that is the strat they want to go to. You could definitely see Fingers Ferguson being downfield and just cherry picking essentially for his teammates. But Steelers, they'll do a more traditional style because that would fit them better.
We'll find out how well it will fit in against the boys of the Armada side. Again, we're looking at firepower, quick clears and booming styles from the Steelers, and the Armada will be looking all to that team play to set up CW, who is in the server today. It's his birthday today. Let's see if he can come out with a qualification victory here as he looks for the top 4 for the Plymouth Armada. It is the Steelers on the offensive in the early part of things, but the Armada do hold the midfield control. Flick back from Ginge won't go well for him, but CW will take control past one of the defending players. Ginger try right back around, go for a decent pass in over to CW, set up for Ginger on the backboard. 1-2-1 pass will go close towards the box, but blocked off by the Steelers on the right hand side of the net. Kwanzi can find the clear.
Already a little bit of change up to our initial thoughts on strats with Lele on the pitch, but we knew this strat was going to come through. A good sweep on in from Lightleaf's Kwanzi, taking it downfield on his own, gets it off the backboard, or the sideboard, sorry, and Lightleaf's just able to quickly clean it up.
And that's the first on the board for the Steelers, and again, so expecting that style and firepower to work out well to their favour. They managed to dribble it past 2 of the defenders there for Lightleafs on the goal, and also a booming clear once again coming through. So yeah, it may be different in terms of the team formation, but in terms of the actual style and the way that they're going to approach the game, the Steelers currently fitting the bill. In the first minute, it is a goal for them, but the pressure's starting to run up for the Armada. 2 players committing on that ball. This could be the chance for Lele to strike, but he misses the ball, goes a little bit too high. CW goes back on target, and Lightleaves can take it away from said target. Kwanzi back over to the centre line, now allowing Ferguson a chance to pinch it off the sideboard. A bit of a light pinch this time, no Cooks's style, but Kwanzi will still swing in and try and take control into this box. It will go. CW and Ginge both playing off the exact same position, though. It's not ideal, but CW does find the clear and past one of the defenders, followed up by Ginge off the backboard. Going to leave it for Lele, and unfortunately he'll go too far forward in that challenge. That's a big mistake for the Armada. 2-0 for Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers at the moment just catching the Armada off guard. Notice that Armada a bit too pushed forward, like you said, Jay. Ginge the only one rotating on back, and he was rotating on back as quick as he could, but that counter came in too fast.
Yeah, that's a 2-0 again for the Steelers, and again with those clears coming through, those boomers down the end of the field. And in this case, a bit of an overcommitment there on the defensive from the Armada will leave us very nice position for the Steelers part of things. 3 minutes and 20 to go. Good shot from Ferguson, swinging in from the left-hand side of the field, getting the third on the ball for the Steelers. Coming out of nowhere, no one from Armada was ready for this.
Good back pass there for Kwanzi. Lingering in the corner because he didn't really know what to do, but the ball was gifted to him and he could respond with a great gift of his own straight to center, and a brilliant finish by Ferguson. 3-0, and Steelers definitely on form today.
Or double commit there. CW does officially get a shot registered, but Ferguson is able to take it away, and 2 players. Oh, they break away once again to the midfield. It's Kwanzi with control. Flick a little bit far wide to the right. Not too ideal again for the Steelers, but he can use that and great ball control and challenges. He's going to control inside this corner with no boost. Begins Ginge next. He'll try and back pass, but Lightleaf swings in to try and see if he can get some decent control. It is Lele able to get that challenge in off the backboard. It's Kwanzi here for the dunk down chance, and Ginge a little bit out of position on this one. Steelers, well, the firepower is working really well for them. Armada struggling to get started. They're looking very lackluster.
Yeah, and for me there, I'm going to pull into question CW. He went out, wasn't quite sure what to do, thought about going for the boost, and that indecision cost him. In those cases, he needs to get up onto that backboard, Jay, and then jump across net to cover the high. And Ginge could have covered the lower. And this is just a bit of a team breakdown going bad for the Armada side, where they're not communicating effectively with each other and where they want to be.
Good 50-50 challenge inside that corner. Ginge will contest. Good challenge again to the backboard. Taken away by Ferguson, though. And I think it's a stark contrast with the way the Steelers are playing this.
Oh,
no. Kwanzi. One good tee-up is all he needed. This clear coming through, and all you have to do is get a decent touch in. That's 2 players committing on that one. I think Lele came out of the net for that one. It's the 3rd or 4th time he's gone for that commitment. And again, you know, Plymouth Armada all held out towards the midfield, not ready for rotations, not in positions to try and counteract it. Steelers, on the other hand, their backline is bolstered beyond belief.
We know how big this game is for both sides. And it seems to me, Jay, Armada not dealing with the pressure that well. The opposite can be said for the Steelers, who right now are really taking it to Armada and not giving them a second to breathe, let alone think. Great plays coming out from Steelers.
Ferguson is going to take control with the midfield presence. Pass out to Kwanzi, trying to go for the redirect. We'll take it to the backboard and we're further wide of the marker. That demo in, though, this could be perfect. Kwanzi couldn't get the dunk down. A little bit too far out of position for that one. Still, though, Steelers keeping it away from Armada control. Kwanzi taking it past Lele again. 2 players committing. Ginge. Oh, that challenge! 6-0 Steelers! Full control.
That is so much confidence coming out from Kwanzi. Played Ginge like a fiddle, making sure that whatever he wants comes to fruition. 6-0 to Steelers. You got to think these 2 teams joint on wins. But here's a night and day difference.
Jeez.
Louise.
Yeah, double up on that one. CW and Ginge trying to see if they can get something going, but the positionings and the controls is not great. Steelers breaking away once again. Kwanzi off this backboard. This is easy in. Oh, off the crossbar. That whiff might buy a bit of a chance for the Armada to break away, but you can see how quick Ferguson's able to adjust. Second time off the backboard. Kwanzi's going to try and swing in for the dunk. He is going to miss out on the touch. But either way, this pressure is just going to waste time. 60 seconds on the clock, and Armada are just unable to score anything. They're continuing to get shots. That bump in from Lightleaves could open up a chance. Unfortunately, Kwanzi couldn't get to the ball in time.
Yeah, CW here with no boost. Can't really do much. Again, didn't communicate that to his teammates. Ginge was very slow. He was watching him. They've got to talk the lads from Armada. This is going to be another runaway goal. The 7-0. I said the other day on a different broadcast here, Jay, but I'm over Brazil's now. I'm past all that. I'm all about the 101 Dalmatians, which could come very much true now. It's not a pretty sight to see, but I like the numbers when they all line up perfectly.
It's not a pretty sight for the Armada if they have to get to that point, but Steelers don't feel like they're interested in letting any goals go in for them at the moment. CW into that corner, and Lightleaves up alongside Kwanzi trying to dunk in. Ginge does take that ball away. Secondary touch from Ferguson keeps it inside that box, so third player won't come forward as Lele and CW do eventually find the clears. From CW to Lele, back to CW, continuing to contest, but bounce out from Kwanzi. Might put this one in. No, Ferguson able to swing out and again get the quick clear away. Followed up by Kwanzi, pushed away by Lele, but it's just it's it's over. 10 seconds on the clock, and this has been a very dominant start to the day as Kwanzi steals a goal from Lightleaves. 8-0 at 8 seconds on the clock. There you go. Some numbers lining up for you there, Bacon. The Steelers just absolutely decimating the Armada here in our first series of the day.
And like I said, these two teams with the same differential coming into today, but Teesside Steelers was so prepared for it. We were talking before about how this team just 3 weeks ago.
There we go.
One, a little bit late for Brazil, but hey, they've arrived to the party. Yeah, we're talking about Steelers just a few weeks back looked like a team that was just a solo standard side. They were great individually, but could not work it together as a team. 3 weeks, and what a difference it has made. This is a team that's linking up. They're effectively talking to each other, bringing out those demo opportunities in net, and the infield passes not being incredibly clean because they've still got to work on it, but the fact that they're going for it and they're connecting still is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I have to say, this is a surprisingly impressive performance for a team that we, that again, as you mentioned, we didn't really have a whole lot of faith in going back a few weeks ago. And again, against a team that, in theory, should be able to have the upper hand. Because one thing we say is the worst thing you can do in a competitive Rocket League environment is to play solo standards. You need to play as a team, as a formation. And on paper, it feels like the Armada should have that together, but right now they don't. Is apparently a lot of overcommitments, a lot of big mistakes being made by them on that particular case. And I hate to call out the guy, but Lele was sort of like the frontal point of a lot of those in terms of the overcommitments, especially in the defense.
A lot of charges at the ball in the midfield, and being played going out wide. That is more of a rank difference there. Lele is the weakest player for the Armada side, and it's just an aspect of the Blong Arena clash where anyone can sign on up, and unfortunately Lele is going up against players that he would never go up against. And here, charging at the ball, and they're just faking him out, taking it around him. Hopefully, he's learning from it and adjusting. We'll have to see, because right now, Pepe's stepping onto the pitch in his place. We do know from Armada, all 4 players do play each and every week, because that should go along. They're all, taking it in turns, having fun. But this should be their strongest lineup, and hopefully, it's going to be the difference they need to take a W.
Well, they're going to need to turn things around right about now. Steelers already on the offensive, and unfortunately Pepe's way out of position on this one. A first will be scored by the Steelers as the Armada has crumbled to pieces again in his backline, Bacon.
It was an awkward ball coming in from Kwanzi. Lightleaves, of course, being given tons of time to work with. But for the defense, you're not expecting that slow, wide out play. So they just fumbled it a little bit, but
Kwanzi!
Beautiful from Kwanzi.
30 seconds in, and the Steelers to steal another 2 goals away from the Armada. This is just decimation on another level right now. Even the change-up is needed to try and just take a moment to get started, but they need these 3 players to step up again. We talked about this being the top lineup. This is the main sort of like the main 3 players from Armada that can work in pretty good fashion. Right now, unfortunately, it's just not working against the Steelers' play style. Pepe there with the defense will hold down CW with a dribble. Nice area up against Ferguson, but challenged by him at the very last second. And dribble plays like that where you've got so much room to breathe on the Steelers' part is really shut down by one good player in their own right. Kwanzi trying to go for the fakes against Lightleaf shot. All 3 players committing to that ball's offensive line. And CW does get it past one here for the breakaway. He backs off and leaves it for the Steelers' control.
So CW on that landing was just sideways, Jay, so he couldn't continue onto the ball.
No! Oh no!
F's in chat.
Oh boy. That's not good.
It was a decent goal, just in the wrong net.
Yeah. See, if that was a passing play from blue side player to blue side player and onto the orange net, that would have been perfect from Armada. But another big mistake being made by the blue side of the court. 3 goals in just a minute and a half at this stage. Armada, something drastic needs to change right now at this stage, Bacon.
It really does, and timing just feels a little bit off for Armada. You saw it earlier with Pepe going up the wall, just was a tiny bit too late, so couldn't connect with it. That's their biggest problem with their rotations. They're not arriving at that crucial time to make the connection. See there, just the jump a little too early from Ginge, so he just goes wide of it.
Ball up again to that corner. Ferguson going to miss out. Pepe takes it up and over into the backboard once again. Lightly is being beaten out. Ginge off the backboard in towards CW's position, and unfortunately it's not going to happen for him. Ginge once again goes close, but no cigar. Pepe now with a chance as he comes forward trying to readjust from the midfield line.
That's good.
Inside that box the ball will be played, but no response to the right hand end of the field. Armada giving a lot of room for the Steelers to breathe here. The CW sets up the pass a little bit late from Ginge. He's got to get high. Pepe with one final redirect to keep it in, but no, it goes to the corner.
These sets coming out from Armada are good. They're putting the ball to centre with opportunities. Good demo coming out there from Pepe. But Jay, you said no response in the middle. They're not following up on these opportunities. Again, that spacing just a bit too far and wide. The pacing not good enough. CW does put this up in the air, but that's too close to the net to be comfortable. And that touch, not needed.
Boom back from CW, taken away off to the sideboard, challenged by a second player coming out from the Steelers side. Ferguson beaten by Pepe. Goes off that ceiling to try dunk down. The second player here, Kwanzi going to leave it for light leaves to find that overall clear. He'll be able to pick up 100 in the midfield regardless. I'll go up with a dribble underneath, or over one I should say. CW back over to the mid-centre. Ferguson tees it up. Pepe gets out of the way. A slow ball, but officially registered as a shot on target, surprisingly enough. Doesn't matter too much again for the Steelers because they've got plenty more shots where that came from. Ball back off the backboard, missed by two of the defenders. Pepe out, demos in. Kwanzi with control, just blocked off by Ginge, where you can see the disaster about looming for the Armada side. Nice backboard clear from Lightleaves as well. Great accuracy, and the best chance for Armada once again has gone to the wayside as Kwanzi goes for a shot. That's on target. That's saved by CW. And finally, Armada starting to ramp up the pace a little bit here.
Yeah, they are, but the problem is that the Steelers are responding accordingly. Kwanzi going wide across pitch. You can see he's looking for his teammate downfield. Touch not coming through from Ginge. But Steelers, they're starting to play with the pace, and Armada have got to be careful because of that. They could overcommit like that. Easy finish for Kwanzi.
And we're back to square one as a result. Armada, the overcommitment. Two players going up for that ball as well. If they had just communicated that one player was going for it, the other one could have rotated back, possibly from the centre line. At that stage, I think Kwanzi was in an awkward position if CW had gone for that challenge. No, 4-0, 50 seconds on the clock, and it's looking like game two is done and dusted already here, Bacon. Oh, that good pinch is going to go well. Okay, not too bad for Pepe. It's a consolation prize for Armada at the very least, but to find 3 more goals will be nothing short of a miracle for the blue side.
Yeah, Kwanzi would be a bit annoyed on that. You never leave route to net open, especially on those, because of the pinches. Good read there from Pepe. 1 goal, same as last time. The score differential, though, has been dropped, but that is a brilliant kickoff follow-up from Kwanzi.
As you said, the score differential has been dropped. The Steelers put it back in place, though.
Master's curse, okay?
Indeed. Ginge is a little bit too far forward on this one. It's like, it sucks for Armada because now you feel like they're starting to learn not to overcommit too much, but still that was like the tiniest little overcommitment that still cost them the goal. It's just not ideal. And it certainly feels like, again, this one is over at this stage. Just all a formality for the next 30 seconds or so as Ginge and Pepe do work out of that blue half alongside CW. Control, flick back, potentially with a secondary touch. That looks good, but Kwanzi does rotate back in time to save it. And again, Steelers just not allowing anything for Armada. 18 seconds, another shot will come through. It will be cleared away by CW mostly. No, Ferguson back down towards Light Leaves and over to the backboard. Kwanzi will try and come forward, but the final countdown ensues. And that's game 2 over. Match point for the Steelers, looking to go forward to the top 4. And again, Armada just not showing up to play today.
No, Armada doing better here in game 2, but still not enough. Their connections are better, Jay. Their pace is a lot better. They are picking it on up. The problem is those overcommitments and double commits are still there, and their opponents, Steelers, have noticed that pick up in pace and that you can only play at one sort of set pace at a time, so Steelers can slow it down in defense, and that's what causes those overcommitments, because Armada looks at it and thinks, oh, they're struggling in defense, let's rush in there and try and bombard them, but really it's the Steelers going, no, we'll bring you in, then quick, cheeky little up and over.
Yeah, and I really don't know a way back in for the Armada. Again, we said something drastic needed to change in Game 2, and while some small adjustments were made, in the end it was nothing drastic enough at the end of the day. You know, even the change for Pepe still didn't really bring enough to the Armada side to try and get that team play in order, because that is the main strength that they have. The fact that they're a really good team rather than really good players. But unfortunately, just the style and the control and mechanical, the mechanicals essentially of their opponents and the Steelers is just running all over them essentially, you know.
And the problem here is that Armada has gone to a more traditional style of Rocket League where they're all getting involved. This is completely different to what we saw back in week 2, I think it was, where you again just saw CW being either alone on the attack or alone in the defense. I'm going to say now, go back to that old style. Let CW handle the attack and leave Pepe and Ginge both in defense, try and hunker down on that defense, and let CW just bash out the attempts after attempt on net, and then randomly throw in either Pepe or Ginge to go for those demos, or try and set up a passing play. They've got to change up a strat and try and think out of the box.
Oh, we're seeing the hints from the main man himself. Let's see. Oh, well, apparently I was going to say we're about to go back into the game. There you go. Quadzi with control early on alongside Lightleaves, but the backboard plays will come through for the Steelers. Already on target. Ginge just gets back in time to save it. But again, starting things off on the exact same pace for the Steelers. Good challenges again to the backboard. Open net mostly for Pepe. He's beaten to the ball, and Lightleaves scores the first in just 20 seconds.
Yeah, this was a very, very good block from Fingers Ferguson there, and Lightleaves quick to jump at it. Great little takeoff to get the pace on that one, and defense just caught off guard.
Yes! Once again, the same sort of issues cropping up for the Armada. Look at his ball kickoff as well for Quanzi, all the way to the blue corner, and he's going to pass it up towards Ferguson to try and take it into the box, but denied by the Armada side. CW beaten. That ball's going to go booming back over to the exact same corner once again. Ginge up. Quanzi back in. Lightleaves with control. Boom on target. Should get taken wide. Lightleaves 30 points of boost for leaving Ferguson instead. He just tees it up. That's on target. Oh, what a team play. Just blocked off and just couldn't get recovered. Quanzi with the slightest of inaccuracy saves that one from being goal of the week. 60 seconds into this one, it's certainly game of the week for Steelers.
Hang on.
Looking for a chance available here for CW. Big miss from Ginge all the same, and Pepe couldn't make the third strike work. So Armada, again, trying to get a bit more offensive and also counter-rotating. Ginge will come forward, challenge, and keep it in the orange half. So finally, a little bit of pressure going the way of Armada, but this breakaway is still looking solid to the backboard. Follow-up from Quanzi. There it is, 2-0.
Yeah, Quanzi really catching defense off guard. Fingers Ferguson, unlucky there, not finish it off. But defense, not expecting the whiff from Pepe, and it's unfortunate. They have to go away, pick themselves up, because 1 minute 15 into Game 3 here, Jay. Steelers continuing the pace they've set for the last 2 games. It's not a pretty one for Armada.
Pepe up to CW, backflips.
Feels backflip, man.
Indeed, double commit from Lightleaves and Quanzi might not matter, because that's on target, and again the Armada just couldn't save it. Right up in the top left corner, and Lightleaves didn't even need to follow this ball in. He still did, but
Great placement.
Great placement, but Pepe and Ginge really should have saved that, I think.
It's a hard one when you're really jumping out, and they had such limited boost, so they just got to throw yourself out the ball. But yeah, great placement, unlucky on defense.
Quanzi setting up Ferguson. Oh my god. Bacon's giving
a small little clap.
Bacon's giving a golf clap to that one, because that's how good that really was. 4-0 for Steelers.
That set from Quanzi there is so big. Naturally, as a defender, you're thinking he's dropping that down to the ground a bit faster or going for a net. But to keep it a very light touch up in the air for the follow-up, beautiful.
And that's a concerning sign for the Armada, because what did we say? You know, they're the ones that should be setting up those kind of goals out from the Steelers position. And the Steelers now, they're setting up themselves to perform, using that mechanical prowess to really deal a number on the Armada line. 3 minutes to recover 4 goals, else Armada will drop out of the top 4 and not have a chance to make it into the playoffs. The Steelers, once again working towards that orange arc, good bounces will come out. Ferguson here off the backboard, missing out the secondary touch, but it doesn't matter because Pepe comes forward, beats out one, tries to make it forward alongside Gingy with the tee off. Only one player to beat. If they can get the bumping plays in, no.
Too slow.
Too slow. Ferguson allowed to rotate, allowed to get the save.
Yeah, they did a brilliant little setup towards the centre, but again, players not getting it communicated to them in this
no.
open net. Ferguson going to pick up another. I think the Ryan's on the wall here, Jay.
Still got half a game to go as well. So like, where do we go from here in terms of the Armada? Like, how do they fix this? How do they change this? How do they try and find a way out of this one? Like, as you say, the writing is basically on the wall. We say the 3-goal deficit is such an impossible one. Well, take a look at 5. Well, one will come through from Ginge at
Challenge
least.
accepted, it seems.
I mean, look, if they can make it happen, then I'm happy to eat my own slice of humble pie, mate. I'm not joking around that one. For serious, Armada. 2 minutes 25. I've seen it done before, but it's just so unlikely, you know.
Well, let's buckle on in and accept this wild ride, because Plymouth Armada have got to now get 4 goals in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. CW looks up to the task. He gets that up high. But he's going to need more than this from his teammates to finish it off.
Look at Quanzi and Ferguson. Nice cut off there from CW. Lightly leave it over to Ferguson. Could tee up and everything here. They're trying their best to get something going out from this one, but the Armada testing, trying to pick up the pace here, playing like they've got nothing to lose, because most certainly they don't at this stage. They've already lost this game apparently. Well, Light leaves up. Nice over to the right hand side. CW will get the clear. No response. Quanzi again able to take control. Chance available for Pepe. Leaves it for Gingy. Instead, that fake might open up a chance. Bacon's getting hyped, and the Armada certainly are too.
Yeah, look at the bump coming on in from CW. Moves Quanzi away, and Quanzi then moves into Ferguson. No one in net, and that is an easy freebie goal. 3 goals now remain to be found by Armada. It is a momentous task, but it's just been made that little bit easier.
Multi-layered play. Pepe in. It's over to Chin.
Yes!
Oh my goodness, they're doing it! Armada! Yeah, I said 5-0 in just a matter of 30 seconds. They've scored 3. 2 more to go. The Steelers may just be contested here.
The story is being written in front of our eyes, and it is one you do not want to turn away from. Armada finally finding their groove, and they're making it look so good.
Oh, with a challenge from Quanzi, sets up a perfect chance to dunk down. The defense has been lackluster, and it will go in. Oh, just as quickly as hope springs up, the water washes away and just blows and takes away any sort of hope. Steelers, this is their yard now. Back to 3-goal differential, Bacon, and that, if that's not crushing to the Armada morale, then these boys are the most happiest in the world.
It's a good reception on the kickoff from CW. Pepe going to be able to find it, but high of net, the follow through just wide as well. Not linking up, like you said, overcommitted as well since a run downfield. Missed opportunity there, but they have got so much work to do. CW chasing that downfield that caused a lot of pressure, but Pepe and Ginge can't find it. It's way downfield.
Challenge from Ginge, at least gets that ball out of the way. CW's got to go in off the backboard, second touch of the dunk down. Nope, taken away by the defensive. And Ferguson also with the breakaway. So long as they can keep these breakaways going here, the Steelers should have this game under wraps. They're even going to go for another goal out here. It's Ginge. No boost to go forward. We'll get it past Light Leaves at least. Get the 100 boost out the midfield. That was actually on target as well, actually, surprisingly enough. Ferguson with control. Double commit. Oh, that's an own goal.
That was a double own goal.
Oh,
Ferguson
dear.
goes up. Look, CW gets a touch on it.
Double commit.
After the teammate did as well.
After it was
That's
looking
a
like the
no-brainer.
ultimate comeback story for Armada as well. Oh no, Quanzi, please. Okay. Well,
Obvious fake kickoff is obvious.
Armada. The comeback story looks like it has been ended a little bit early in this one, as the Steelers, with 10 seconds on the clock, put 1 more in the back of the net just for good measure. But at this point it is confirmed they are the next team forward in that top 4 of Group 1. And they are looking forward to their spots in the playoffs.
Yep, 1 of 2 remaining spots confirmed. Teesside Steelers will be making it on through, but next series will be deciding where they end up. All these goals, Jay, mean for little. just a great confidence boost. And of course, T-side Steelers looking good for those playoffs. Don't get me wrong, they're going to be wanting to come out third seed from their group because fourth will have to go up against the Milton Keynes Enigmas, and I don't think any team at the moment can defeat them. But they're looking good nonetheless. If they go third seed, who knows? They could make it to the semis, if not the finals. We'll see.
And there's potential in this side, especially if they're looking like that against some of the other teams in the other groups, and of course the playoffs as well. Obviously, like again, it all depends on who they're going to face off against. Talk me through that breakdown scenario, that scenario again, for where they'll end up.
So right now, if my workings are correct, T-side Steelers are through. If the Kingston Harriers take down Portsmouth Pirates, Steelers will be 4th seed, Harriers will be 3rd seed. However, if the Pirates take down the Harriers, then Steelers will be 3rd seed with the Pirates being 4th seed. So there's still a lot of room to be jumbled about here.
That doesn't change the fact that our next series of the day will end up being the qualification match, the final qualification match for this group. Of course, as you mentioned, it will be the Pirates versus the Harriers. Portsmouth take on Kingston after this short break, so don't go anywhere. After this, we'll be back with our final match of the group play, league play, whatever you want to call it, play action for week 5. It's Pirates versus Harriers after this very short break. Don't go anywhere.
I'm a curious man with some curious genes. I get that from my dad. I'm not far from the tree. I flow like I'm a butterfly, sting like a beamer. I hate features. Got my running around with my head in the clouds, feeling lost and then found. When they woke up and frowned, tell myself I'm the man. I was right to be left. Now I'm back to myself. Who am I to keep on holding you from everything you want? I can see you and see what you want. Who am I to? Who am I?
Looking right, left, going straight. Don't know where to go, wanna hide away. I'm affecting myself. You are no good for me. Somehow, dangerously, am I? Who am I?
Welcome back to the Long Arena Clash here for Rocket League for Week 5, the final week of the group play action. We're into our second series of the day, the final series of the group play action, in fact. It's going to be the Portsmouth Pirates taking on the Kingston Harriers here, Bacon. We have seen a pretty one-sided affair already today in the T-side Steelers, unfortunately destroying the Plymouth Armada in a pretty one-sided affair from the word go, especially. You know, like, it's funny too because towards the end of that last game we saw a bit of a comeback for the Armada, but unfortunately we just got shut down.
Yeah, and we were talking about this in the break and just how it's so weird. These teams have all taken down each other, and there makes no sense into why they're all 3-0s. But without further ado, let's talk about this versus. Let's talk about this matchup, because Portsmouth Pirates are going up against the Kingston Harriers now. For a little bit of back in here, Jay, the Steelers, who are already through, will be 4th seed if the Harriers win. However, they will be 3rd seed if the Pirates win. Naturally, that's because Portsmouth Pirates beat the Steelers, but the Steelers beat Harriers. So it's an interesting little triangle that's going on here between all 3 of these teams.
Yes, of course. And again, this matchup is so important because just like the last one, it is going to be a qualification match. If these two, if either of these two teams are able to win, then they are able to make it into the final 4 from this group. And I think a lot of us sort of are riding the Harriers hype train. You know, we think a lot of the other elements of this roster, in particular, Tag Matter and Belfie, obviously being
We've got to back our cone, boy.
Yeah, we can't not. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to even objective skill, like we've talked about how these two guys have always been able to work well together, and obviously they're notorious in the Rocket League UK scene. So of course we're going to be able to come with a decent level of knowledge of what they can do, you know?
Yeah, and actually I found a reason why Belfie changed the Zor from the end of his name to Meister.
Right.
It's because he wanted a second jersey, so had to change his gamer tag. Literally. I respect the hustle. Go for it, lad. He takes a sip of water.
No, I have to toast to that. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I'm going to wait for the camera to come back so I can like toast it. So here you go. Thanks, Ben. Amen to that fucking Belfie.
So, looking at the opposite side, with Portsmouth Pirates, Lion, Giraffe, and then we've either got Lion Senior or Caramel Chopper, and we've got no clue which of those two is going to be turning up today, because we saw Lion Senior last time step in as a sub, but they won their matches with him as the sub. Like, I don't know, Rocket Dad coming through strong there.
Yeah. That is assuming he's actually the dad, obviously.
The Senior implies...
Yeah, it implies it, but it's one of those things. It's like you don't actually know for certain.
We never got
like,
it confirmed.
It's like there's another team that we know called UGS, right? And they actually used to be consisted of players that were called Sad Monk, Bad Monk, and Death Monk. And it's like, well, are they? Does that by default mean that they're like brothers of some sort?
Friends.
Like they're friends, exactly. So what if it's literally just a case of like, you know, Lion and his friend Lion Senior, or you know, maybe they're older. It's not necessarily guaranteed that it's his dad per se. You know, like just because it's a nickname doesn't necessarily mean that. We're just going for the assumption play. You know.
Okay. So I'm not agreeing with you here. I'm just saying whatever. So looking at this one, Jay, predictions right now for me, we've had way too many 3-0s to say it's going to be anything but a 3-0 here today, because we were going into the last match thinking it was going to go to Game 5, and both these were, and we got a 3-0 shutout. So I'm going to go 3-0 to the Kingston Harriers, just because.
Threw his pen down and everything. He was just like, yeah, it's
just why
Harriers.
not? Because we're not getting what we want. That's it.
I have to agree. I think again, this team is just so good. It's just so good right now. Again, the only team that I think can really rival them in this group is possibly the MK Enigmas. You know, just because of how they're the.
Wait, it's more the case of who can rival the MK Enigmas team.
Yeah, and this is a team that I think could rival the MK Enigmas. We could potentially see them in that semi-final. You know, because obviously the 1st and 3rd seed, the way that kind of works out, it should be in the same sort of bracket, or the same sort of like branch essentially of the bracket. So that might actually be an interesting semi-final. The MK Enigmas might get challenged in that respect. I know that that's one of the main things that Taggers and Co have been sort of focusing on when it comes to this season Arena Clash. But we'll see how well they'll fare against the Pirates side, because we're about ready to get into our second and final best of 5 here of the group play season. It all comes down to this. Winner will move forward from the top 4 of Group 1, the top 8 here in the playoffs position. The Harriers will be on the blue side, Portsmouth Pirates in the orange corner. Will be Jake and Tag Matter here on the initial defense. Lion seems to have a bit of a control here alongside the Infernal Giraffe. Beaten out by Tigers off that sideboard, moving a little bit closer into this one. Pass out towards Jake, and he's going to leave it for Belfi instead. And off the backboard, Lion should get challenged. Indeed, he does. So a couple of decent breakaways here for the Pirates side. A couple of good challenges again from the Harriers. Going to keep playing the ping-pong style. Try to get a feel for where they're at right now in this game.
Yeah, Jake a little bit pushed forward there, but he does get the block. It's interesting choices. Belfi didn't want that to go so low. He wanted to keep it high and then maybe drop it on down. Lots of aggression coming out from Kingston, and that is very characteristic of Jake.
Unpredictable backboard players that almost went for the zero angle goal there for the Harriers side. Inside this box is where they're going to continue to play out of, and from this corner is where they'll try and get the aggressive going. Not overly aggressive from the Harriers side, but they will continue the pressure again from the corner, bounce out towards the box. Booming clear back in, Taggers into the midfield. Lion there with the demo against him. Oh, a bit of a miss there. This might allow Infernal Draft a bit of a chance, but challenged again by Belfi as he swoops in for the recovery play. It's one of the main things I love about the Kingston Harriers as well. They're so communicative and they know exactly where they're at right now. Point that they can very easily take control of the situation, even get the recovery plays going for themselves. That corner the ball get played here for the Harriers again with control. Just trying to get the defensive set up inside this box. No, Lion cannot get the shot in. So again, Harriers just working off the defense.
Yeah, and this has been quite a quiet opening.
Yeah?
Who knows, maybe we'll get that game 5, Jake. And it's all down to both teams not wanting to risk too much. Jake there, going for a little bit of a double commit, but it won't hurt. There's the final finish, but off the crossbar, down and out. Unlucky for Belfi.
Sucks so much because he got the bumping plays in. Draft could not have saved that if that was low enough. Tag Mata will still continue the pressure inside this corner. Belfi trying to wrap back around and try and get Jake set up for a decent clear. It will tee it up past the first defender, and up against the second defender is Lion, who will be able to tee it off. It's Donald Draft beaten, however. Belfi now continuing to move forward. Steals out 100 boost from the corner, takes it off the backboard, going to try and flick in against Caramel Chopper. Backboard second touch, and once again going high here for the Harriers. Tag Matter going to try dunk it down, taken away by Lion, so no trouble, no bother for the Pirates. Second touch might work out better in towards Infernal Giraffe. No, Belfi can find the clear in the end for the Harriers side.
Good breakaway as well. Lion playing it way too far wide. Follow up won't be able to be made effectively. Good control on the backboard by Jake. And you can see they're playing with pace here in defense, Harriers, which is very clever. And actually they're trying to slow it on down, and then they can progress upfield together as a team.
Tag Matter will be forced to make a few steps back instead because it's again the Pirates with the breakaway chance. Jake will set it up for him. Great dribble up against one. If he did the second, this would be a great lead, but no. Pinched away from the Pirates, and again very quiet, very slow here. The Harriers had a couple of small breakaway chances. Tag Matter with a miss. Belfi going to try and recover it. Oh, it's off the post. Second back blitz there, and there you go. Belfi Meister is the Meister as he gets the first for the Kingston Harriers.
Yeah, he couldn't get the first shot on target, unfortunately, but the reverse up into it, ooh, little booty bump, is going to get the opening goal. 1:41 left. Kingston Harriers take the lead. I don't think that's going to be the only goal of the game.
I do love his goal celebration right there. It was literally just to sit on his side and he got flung away from
Like
the
a
net.
plank.
Like a plank, exactly. Like a sideways plank. I love it. Backboard from Infernal Chopper to Lion, just blocked off by Tag Matter, fortunately enough there for the Kingston Harriers. The Pirates are trying to work against it here. They have only a single goal to make up. With a minute and 20 to go, there's still plenty of chances available for the Pirates. That ball is saved by the keeper. Belfi goes in, big chance for Lion and Co on the breakaway. It's Tag Matter back into the corner. Belfi's got to find this clear, and indeed he will be able to do so.
Yeah, Lion here, dropping it back down, trying to get that pressure. Good drop from him to definitely uphold that pressure. He's got to be careful. That little drop earlier on could have handed it on over to his opponents and let them start the counter.
Backboard players coming in from the Harriers. Lion moving further forward at this one. 100 boost picked up at the midfield. Jake for control. Instead it's Infernal. Challenged, a good challenge here with a lot of momentum behind that ball off the backboard. Tag Matter here with a chance. He will keep it up high and now allow Jake to try dunk it down. Nice redirect, will go high once again. Belty there with a final challenge, but Lion with the defense. Tag Matter going to keep it inside that box though. Passive control. Infernal Giraffe will look for the clear, but it's again very slow on that ball. Jake with a big miss there. Belty will be able to recover it against Lion. A boom back down over to the blue side corner. 20 seconds on the clock, and Jake going to continue to follow this over to the purple half. Oh, second challenge as well. and that's the Harriers making it a 2-0, probably going to secure game 1 from this point.
Yep, I'm even going to mark that down in my notebook here, Jay, because 14 seconds left, 2 goals, near impossible, but not impossible at all. They could definitely turn this around. It's a close one. It comes down to his kickoff, and that is not convincing for me.
Tagmata taking it back to his teammate's side in front of the Giraffe to the backboard. Big miss for Jake, but Tagmata's there again to recover and should find that final play. That's the last chance wasted for the Portsmouth Pirates. As there you go, game 1 going the way of the Harriers pretty convincingly. I want to say to a lesser extent than usually though. It's not like it's Steelers convincing where they just went attack, attack, attack and didn't really leave any real room for the Armada. But for this one here, it was more a bit of a slower, more methodical style, which I think it worked pretty well overall. Certainly could have been a bit more from the Harriers side, but for game 1 to try to feel out where the Portsmouth Pirates are at, I think it was very smart.
That is definitely what this game 1 was all about, feeling each other out. It'll ramp up as the games go on. That is generally Kingston's strategy. The Harriers don't charge in all at the same time. They like to progress, find where the weakness is in their opponents, and then they'll barrage with goals. Don't expect highlight goals of the week until games 2 and 3. That is always the case with them. So coming up into game 2, it all comes down to the Pirates. They have got to change up. They cannot be happy with, well, not even scoring a goal so far here, Jay. They've got to find those openings and really capitalise, and they've got to do it quick.
To be fair, though, they were pretty close on several occasions. You know, again, I think the issue was always the fact that they were playing very predictably against the Harriers' defensive. You know, because obviously the recovery plays were so there, and when you've got the recovery plays in position for a team's defensive, then it's sophisticated enough to the point where you will need to have a bit more of an extra layer to the attack. Essentially, just play towards the backboard, potentially infield passing, trying to bait out the defensive to make a mistake, rather than just playing predictively. So that way, the counter rotations will be able to adjust and get the saves. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Players just hopping on into lobbies. We'll be back any moment. And here, Jay, for me, Pirates, they've just got to link up together, maybe throw in a couple of demos on the goalies, because right now it's a little bit worrying. They're not pushing their opponents enough. I'm loving the colour scheme.
Oh yeah, it looks really good. Psionics, please. Come on, let's sort it out like this.
This is why I love the most.
I
It's
know,
just being
it's
able
great.
to have teams have their own colours. So aesthetic.
Aesthetic. Yeah. Belfi up here towards the backboard looking for Jake. Nice on target. Belfi to respond off the post. Taggers going to get blocked as well, but that looked beautiful from the Kingston Harriers. Lion and Caramel Chopper will get beaten out. Quick clears will get boomed over to the midfield. Tagmata with a bit of a miss out there, but it doesn't matter too much. Caramel Chopper will put it off to the sideboard, but once again by the Harriers, it will be Belfi that moves forward. Lion over and up.
That's a nice
back on
move.
this. Actually could look really good. Oh, Lion! All right, that was pretty damn good.
That was indeed. This was a lovely little follow-up on that ball. And unfortunate for Taggers, it is going to be an own goal, but that initial play is so good to throw off any ball.
Love that. Absolutely brilliant. Make a smile here today for the Portsmouth Pirates. They can get that first on the board. Oh, big misses though. Lion does recover it. So fortunately, the rotations from Harriers looking good at that early game 1. In game number 2, it's the same to be said for the Portsmouth Pirates, with the cut-off from Jake. That's set up beautifully, but pushed away by Infernal Giraffe, followed up by Belfimeister and Caramel I keep saying Caramel Chocolate, so it's Caramel Chopper who's able to get the counter rotation into the defense. Still, Jake will take it up high. Still the Harriers will keep the pressure going with a booming shot coming through the pinch off one of the Portsmouth Pirates players. Almost scoring the own goal right there. Taggers passes down to Belfi, up off the backboard with the crossbar, in fact, over the Tagmata one more time, but a little bit slow on that ball's position. Now for Infernal Giraffe can quickly get the save.
Belfi just seems to have a problem today with keeping that ball down, but this pressure coming out from the Harriers, it's like they're smothering their opponents. A little bit of a whiff, and so there will be a breakaway, but Taggers straight back onto it. Good link up with Belfi.
Mistakes being forced out from the Pirates side might allow Harriers a bit of a chance in a moment's time here. Belfi with control, taking up past 1 on target. Oh, the flick is good enough for the Harriers, and the Portsmouth Pirates will lose their lead back to the blue side.
Yeah, that little touch there from Belfi is all he needed to beat the defense. Rotation's a little bit wonky. They've got the goal to hand on over. 3 minutes left, Jay. Still anyone's to take.
Continuing to contest at this stage off to the sideboard, and again that Harriers pressure will work well against the Pirates side, forcing those mistakes on, and a couple of good touches is all they'll need to try and get those goals in. All three players caught to the left-hand side of that net though. That booming clear will go on target. Camel Chopper has got to take it away, but he uses all of his boost in doing so. Going to rely on his teammates to find the breakaway clear. The Lions going to do a pretty decent job of his own, right? Corner is where it will be played out. Camel Chopper up, Tagmatic in the position to try and contest it instead of look for Belfi. Great call on a breakaway for the Harriers that could still work out here at halftime. Nice touch as well from Belfi. On the reverse and still managed to get it forward towards that box. It's Jake in. Camel Chopper there with the contention. Two players committing on the offensive could allow a bit of a chance for Lions to break away, but Belfi again able to block it off. And the rotations and just the cover off plays from Kingston Harriers. So well placed. Belfi forcing the own goal. The Pirates now losing the lead to the Harriers 2-1.
Yikes, just the own goal there. But brilliant move from Tigers in that midfield to knock the ball back to centre for Belfi. It broke up the attack from Pirates. They were not ready for that type of touch. It's one of the things that Tigers does so well, just make these plays which your opponents do not expect.
Belfi with that block off Tagmata. Nice redirect. It's just off the post, and Belfi a little bit out of position. Tries to go for the bounce back off the backboard. And Jake will do his best to keep that one on track, on target. Second touch.
Good
oh,
touch.
Nicely done. Harriers delivering highlight moments here. 3-1 on their board. Now they're starting to come into their own.
Yeah, draft there, knocking the ball out to centre. He should let it roll just a little bit, but the panic set on in. Brilliant follow-up from Jake, who you would naturally think should have rotated out back to defense, but he lingered and got the reward.
For the Harriers right now, that pressure is the main thing that's giving them so much to work with. Mistakes coming out from the Pirates are going to leave that net open a number of times out here. Once again, they'll go on the offensive and try and keep it inside this box. Secondary challenge from Belfi, and now there's all three players actually to the right-hand side. A good infield pass will work really well for the Harriers at the moment, but they're not going to go for it. Jake misses out, still bumps in on towards one. Tagmata going to look for his chance. Good chance from Lion. Could find a way into the blue half, but Portsmouth Pirates a little bit too far back. And again, the Harriers, quick adjustments cannot allow the speed to get stalled up here for the Pirates.
Yeah, Harriers are so good at pace on their retreat. Generally because when they go for the attack, they'll leave themselves with about 20 boost here, Jake, to get
nice.
back. But that attack, brilliant little link up.
Drop down passing play from Jake to Belfi. Belfi waited for it, and Jake knew that he was not getting a confident touch in, so they played that one to perfection. 4-1 on the Harriers board. A minute to go before the Pirates will lose game 2. Harriers taking a little bit of time to get spooled up here, but now that they're going, they are looking like the confident side that we expected here. Belfi with control. Okay. Careful, careful. Passing to Jake here in the midfield. It will take away by Infernal Giraffe. Secondary challenge off the backboard to be too far wide. The second player also not committing further forward in time. Lion will be there against Tagmata. The Belfi there, they can't get away from him. Bit of pressure's out for the Pirates, but it's simply blocked off. Lion here with one big miss off the backboard of Infernal Giraffe. No, Taggers takes it to the right.
And again, this is sort of what we expected. We said it earlier, where Harriers in the first game are generally quite quiet. They try and figure out their opponents. Become game 2 or 3, they start firing those cylinders. 4-1 so far is a great result. It's going to come down to game 3 for the Portsmouth Pirates to really start trying to get their own nice opportunity. Not going to come to fruition, but Jake, I'm liking that little slowdown in the middle. Allows time for his teammates to get back.
10 seconds as Belfi tries to start his way on towards another goal, but after that sideboard to the ceiling, he'll look for a flick reset. No, just blocked by Lion. Drop out there again. Looks like the Pirates will be able to hold control, but the Harriers will be able to stall for time. 2-0 in the series at this stage for the Harriers boys. It's looking that the Pirates are going to be meeting their match here today.
Yeah, definitely Pirates struggling against the Harriers. Let me quickly just mark that second win for them right there. As
you don't even need to do that, it appears on screen.
It does appear on screen, but it's good reference from me, future reference to look back across, all the pages of results.
So he's turned to a random page with just a big H. For some reason, I don't know what the context is behind that, but he's just...
I wouldn't say it was during a broadcast where, the overlay had got mucked up, and I was just there showing to the camera, which, of course, you guys at home couldn't see, because it was just gameplay, but doing H, like telling the broadcaster, press H, because we couldn't see the player names. It wasn't here,
Awesome.
but it was a LAN event, and yeah, you know how hard it is to
I
cast
know,
around.
I do know. I do know.
Knowing who is touching the ball, you're just there like, one of the blue members, one of the pirates just getting a touch on the ball. That guy I remember is Taggers purely because he's the only one driving the Batmobile. It's that sort of play. But looking at this one here, Harriers just really going beyond. Like we're saying, if any team from this group could really challenge, from the guys coming through today, could challenge the top end, we do believe it is Harriers because they're starting the fire on all cylinders. The Steelers put on a good performance earlier, but Harriers, I think they've just got that game sense about them. They've got the mental aptitude to near enough pull out the reverses. They can really adapt to their opponents.
Yeah, of course. So, Game 3 is about ready to get going here for us, Bacon. We are coming to this game with a goal behind. Already one's been scored, apparently, we're told, because of some technical issues. So we can just jump straight into that one. It won't be too much of a problem because, again, it's only a single goal. And at this stage, the Harriers have got full control. Wouldn't be surprising for them, and yes, it is. There you go. Only in the first 10 seconds or so as well there, Bacon. So they're starting things off on the right foot, and again, just getting all the control out. Lion has a bit of a chance off the ceiling, but that's going to get taken away underwater. Belfi up here for Jake as well. Pushing his further forward towards that box. Double commit there on defense is punishable, but Belfi a little bit slow towards that ball. It still goes close, but a triple commit there. And the Portsmouth Pirates scrambling to get anything above the Harriers is forcing a lot of mistakes out from that purple pitch.
I just love it.
In fairness, again, it's...
Oh! I love that as well from Jake.
Lovely. Belfi setting up Jake to just backflip it, and again, Portsmouth Pirates, a lot of mistakes being made. A triple commit on their part of things. The beautiful backdrop of coral purple reefs will not help you today, guys. Need some good Rocket League skills, and the Harriers will try and push it forward here. Tag Matter on the breakaway. That's an open net. Second touch won't be allowed, and afterwards Jake instead of get it off the crossbar. Tag Matter now bumping out Lion as he picks up 100 towards that corner. Belfi also contesting. Tag Matter in against Lion's position. Belfi goes up, challenges and contests, but it's into the corner as Jake makes it off the sideboard, trying to go for a shot or a setup here towards Tag Matter. The pass, great receive, block off, but it's off the cross.
They like that crossbar, don't they, the Harriers? Guys, a little bit lower, and you could be so many more goals up in this series.
Donald Girard trying to take it in. The bounce up. Ooh, Caramel Chopper off the crossbar. That's perfectly placed for the Pirates, but it's a little bit inaccurate from the final striker here. Ball in for Tag Matter will keep it in that midfield. There's 100 boost and Belfi just the breakaway. Gets demoed out. Infernal Giraffe. Gets a second one towards Infernal Chopper as well. Trying to redirect it in, but Lion there with the final challenge. In the last line of defense for the Pirates, quite literally holding the back line on his lonesome. And even when all three are in play, they just couldn't hold it for the Pirates.
Yeah, slow little hit coming out from JBC. Draft not able to make it back in time. Chopper coming out to try and aggress. The last man. Line just too far back, not able to rotate in time. It was a awful miss-rotation from the Pirates.
Comes there from Caramel Chopper. Lion with a boom back on the back of the backboard. It's Jake into the corner. Belfi needs to find a way back out once again. Is Infernal Giraffe trying to set up Lion here. Unavailable, back passing towards Infernal Chopper. Caramel Chopper. Infernal Giraffe and Caramel Chopper. Again, if it was Caramel Chopper,
Are you trying to ship these players?
No. That's not what I'm trying to do. Just put too many syllables in your name, and that's kind of what happens. Lion over to the corner, being missed from Tag Matter, but he's got no more boost to go further forward. This one second touch might also work out in towards his teammates, and both players going out to the left-hand side of the net. Now Jake's got control, trying to set up Belfi. Infernal Giraffe will get the challenge in against them, and that will not be allowing Harriers to get the break.
No, but look at this. Harriers still keeping pressure going. It's that smother effect that we saw earlier. They're just making sure that they are relentless. Oh, that was cheeky. Not going to come all the way through. Tiger's doing enough to send that back to a teammate, though.
The weird decision making there. Potentially could have sent it back on the back pass towards Tigers. And
Why is no one going for that?
It's true. That's true. Why is no one going for that? It's going to cause a lot of hell for the Portsmouth Pirates. There's 2 shots come in at point blank. They are just about going to be able to save it. And Lion with a breakaway will get so far as Tag Matter Infernal Draft on the back ball. They can't save against that Caramel Chopper. So expecting him, they couldn't quite adjust. Lion tries to get aggressive, but he gets in his way. And the Pirates, even on the offense, are starting to make some serious mistakes. 1:30 to score 3 goals. I've seen it done before, but I don't think it's going to happen with this line of form from the Pirates.
Yeah, Jake with a gentle little touch, just put that to the corner line. Flip him once.
Oh, man.
Unlucky. It was just all in reactions, that sort of hit. You can't aim too much on it.
This is going to cost them here for the Pirates, though. And you can't help but feel like maybe I could have done a little bit better in this one. Belfi gets a simple challenge on to Infernal Giraffe, keeping it away. And the 60-second gong will sound. They need something desperately here on the Pirates side. Giraffe into that corner. Tag Matter with a bit of a miss. This is the Lion's chance to break away and punish, but he couldn't get the power behind the ball. Belfi taking it over to the midfield. Demo on Campbell. Chopper will take away some of the offensive line, but Lion still puts this one up and over. Secondary touch to boom it back down to the purple half. Every time it's just returned out, but the Harriers, the Pirates, just go further and further away from the comeback.
Good launch downfield, but no one to receive it from the Pirates. They've got to aggress now. They've literally got to throw everything out the window. They have got to be super aggressive because with 20 seconds left, 3 goals. Such a dooming task.
Jake contesting. Campbell Chopper with a breakaway. Here we go. 12 seconds, 2 goals, 2 kickoffs. Bacon, it's unlikely. I'm not sure if they can do it. I won't lie to you, mate.
Look, I'm going to give them all my energy because it needs to happen here. The Pirates with their last chance effort.
I can't, mate. I don't think it's going to happen. 10 seconds. Belfi with control, and this is going all the way in.
Okay.
A stellar shot, a stellar goal to secure the playoffs for the Kingston Harriers. 4-1 in Game 3 and 2-0 to 3-0 in the series. And of course, it's the Harriers to score an absolute boomer.
With that, we have it secured here. Kingston Harriers progress on through J, and I'm just quickly checking it. They will be taking 3rd place. It's been a good day for them, a good final match, and that just denied. But a great performance by both the Harriers and the Steelers here to just near enough cement themselves into playoffs.
And we've seen some very interesting developments as well for the Steelers part of things. You know, we had a lot of doubts about them. We said they're solo standard players. They're probably not going to be able to hold a lot, but now they're looking like a pretty decent team now.
Yes.
So they'll be a set of guys to watch. Again, they're going to have a tough time because they are in the 4th place position, unfortunately, due to the circumstances of being in up against the Clyde Claymores actually from the other group. Or depending actually whether actually that
just
seeding
quickly
actually
check
works
the
out well.
bracket and see how it all wraps up.
I think overall, in the general point of the fact is that we have seen some interesting little turnarounds from some of these teams. And again, the Harriers a little bit slow to get started, but that's very methodical and very appreciative of how they sort of play Rocket League right now. The Steelers, with their firepower, now getting linked up with all 3 of the individuals on that side. And therefore, this group is actually going to post some pretty strong contenders potentially for that playoffs, Bacon. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 or maybe even more of these teams actually made it to the semi-finals, you know?
Yeah, so quickly just checking on in, like we said, coming out from Group 1, it will be the MK Enigmas first, Norfolk Nighthawks second, then it will be Kingston Harriers, followed by Teesside Steelers. In Group 2, however, it is going to be the Clyde Claymores first, Colchester Centurions second, Craig Von Kestrels 3rd, and then the York Vikings 4th. So we have got our 8 qualified teams through to the playoffs, and we know where they're going to be finishing.
Indeed, we don't. So that's why we're going to have to find out next week, as the first week of the playoffs will begin. Oh, the first part of the playoff bracket will begin next week. I say the first week, and that's literally what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Regardless, anyways, that's all coming your way next week at the same time, at the same place, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. GMT. So make sure you tune in, make sure you're following the channel to keep up with all that Rocket League action. Tomorrow is the Overwatch lands, and I believe that they're also finishing out their Week 5 group play. So you definitely want to get interested in that. Of course, we always love Overwatch here, and we also love you all for joining us here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next week for even more of the Rocket League Arena Clash.